Tonight, snow clearing concerns.
People are using wheelchairs, and there are some in the neighborhood. How are they supposed to get to the bus stop and not get stuck?
Slushy sidewalks causing frustration for GRT riders.
So that's why I tend to clear a little, at least do a better job.
Why one man has taken matters into his own hands. Plus, remembering a man shot and killed in a Kitchener neighborhood.
Pure shock and just unbelievable that somebody who stood for so much good would be taken away like that.
The search for suspects and the hope for someone to come forward. And diabetic-friendly foods.
Everything is balanced, the macros are all set up, and so you get your proper amounts for each meal.
The mission and menu.
Diabetes runs really rampant in our small communities, so it just helps.
At a new cafe in 6 Nations.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Emotions were high in regional council chambers last night as a long list of delegates expressed their anger about the region's plans to remove people from a Kitchener encampment to make way for a massive transit hub construction project. One regional councillor calls the behavior of some at the meeting unacceptable. CTV's Krista Simpson joins us live with more on this. Krista, it got pretty heated last night.
There were a lot of tense moments, Leanne. Some insults thrown and foul language used. At one point, they had to go to a recess so people could calm down. Councillor Doug Craig says the focus should be on the crux of the issue, and that is the encampment at 100 Victoria Street North. Last year, Regional Council approved a bylaw intended to force anyone living at the encampment off the land before the end of 2025, as the property is needed for construction of the new Kitchener Central Transit Hub. The region has promised to help residents who are living at the site in mid-April 2025 find new housing arrangements. After the original bylaw was passed, a legal challenge came up as to whether the bylaw breaches charter rights. That matter will be argued in court next month, but last night's meeting was about the proposed changes to the original bylaw. That includes moving the date when people will have to leave the property to April 1st of this year, no longer allowing people who don't leave to be fined $5,000, and making a clearer process for helping encampment residents find alternative accommodations. There were about 20 delegates, most unhappy with how the region is handling everything.
In part, I'm here to ask you, what's the point of this?
This input meeting is performative. It feels like a colossal waste of our time because this council has already demonstrated that it's willing to act first and worry about legality later.
I dare you to take that money and set it aside for a sustainable housing project.
The region says the current costs to maintain the encampment are more than $793,000 a year, or $66,000 a month. That's for things like security, garbage removal, and pest control. Councillor Doug Craig says he did not appreciate the tone of the comments made by some delegates Wednesday night, including ones who accused regional councillors of not caring about the people who live at the encampment.
Well, strong opinions are okay, but poor behavior is not. And so we ran into that with some people who were very insulting and rude, and one young lady swearing. And it's that kind of thing that's not acceptable. Regional Council has come to the forefront, has done its job under the limitations of poor funding from the province and the federal government, and we're trying to do everything we can in a humane way. And I think we've done that.
The bylaw and the proposed amendments will now go before regional councillors for a vote at a special meeting tomorrow morning. Leanne.
Okay, Krista, thanks for the update on that. CTV's Krista Simpson joining us live this hour. It may be warmer than we're used to this time of year, but winter is far from over. And some Grand River Transit bus riders say stops aren't getting cleared quickly enough after snow and freezing rain events. Let's head outside to CTV's Alexandra Hollick, who is at one of the bus stops along King Street. Alexandra, can you show us what riders are dealing with where you are?
Absolutely, Leanne. To get from the sidewalk to the bus, riders must climb over this snow pile right here. And while it's already an inconvenience, those with mobility issues say they're finding it even more challenging this winter than in years past. for some Grand River Transit users, their trek doesn't end after they step off the bus.
My wife isn't here today because she uses a walker, so she's disabled. She can't get through all this ice and snow.
Kevin Young has lived in Kitchener for 50 years. A frequent bus rider, he says the GRT needs to step up when it comes to clearing stops.
People are using wheelchairs, and there are some in the neighborhood. How are they supposed to get to the bus stop and not get stuck?
Brett Graham takes matters into his own hands, clearing the snow and slush from the bus stop in front of his house.
I take the bus, so I know the struggles that taking the transit can be, and especially having to walk through snow. It's not fun.
According to the GRT website, snow clearing is done by GRT contractors. The work begins 24 hours after a snow event, and they have up to 48 hours to clear stops and shelters.
This has been like 4 or 5 days now, at least, since we've had the last snow, so something should be done about this.
KW Accessibility Executive Director Edward Ferruzel says this season has been especially difficult.
This year's been a really tough year with so many different snowfalls. You know, I can't hop on the bus, I can't really go anywhere.
The GRT says they hear riders' concerns.
It's been a very heavy start to the year in terms of snow, and I'd say, the clearing hasn't met our expectations.
Adding they've regrouped with the contractors to ensure clearer conditions.
We want to make sure that the stops are as accessible as possible, people can access the service when they need it, and we're working towards that as quickly as we can.
But some riders aren't convinced.
We're only at the beginning of January, so really things are probably going to get worse before they get better.
If it's been more than 48 hours since a snow event and a stop still isn't cleared, the GRT asks riders to call their customer service line or submit a form online. Leanne.
Okay, Alexandra, thank you for that. CTV's Alexandra Hollick reporting live in Kitchener this hour. And some of that snow has been melting out there this afternoon. But as Alexandra mentioned, we are not out of the woods when it comes to winter just yet. CTV's Ashley Bacon standing by in studio with a look at the forecast. Mild temperatures out there today, though, Ash.
I know it felt a little less like winter and more like spring, but I hate to be the bearer of bad news, everyone. Really, winter's just started. We're just getting a little bit of reprieve for about 24 hours or so, but it's not far off getting the next wave of it. If we take a look at our radar this hour, you can see a big band of precipitation making its way towards us. That's going to bring with it rain because temperatures are remaining above seasonal. Today we reached a high of 6. We were only expected to reach 5 degrees, but with that sunshine, it really produced some beautiful spring-like condition. I know for myself, it was nice to step out on my lunch hour and catch a little break. It's still 4 degrees in Waterloo region at this hour, so well above seasonal, which is normally around -3 for this time of year. Wind out of the east-southeast at 13 kilometers an hour. So Leanne, make sure you enjoyed it and get your umbrella ready because rain is on the way.
Okay, Ashley, thanks. It's now been over a month since a 32-year-old man was shot and killed in Kitchener. Police are still investigating, but friends of Pabik Gani want people to know who he was. As CTV's Colton Weens tells us, he's being remembered for his positive spirit and as someone who loved his community.
To me, that's the most important part of his memory, just knowing that he was such an upstanding person, just incredibly loyal, and always tried to do the right thing.
Tyler Murphy is describing one of his best friends, Pabik Gani. Murphy says Gani was the 32-year-old man shot and killed in Kitchener on December 1st.
Pure shock and just unbelievable that somebody who stood for so much good would be taken away like that.
On the night of December 1st, Waterloo Regional Police responded to a shooting near Century Hill Drive. A man was found inside a vehicle with gunshot wounds and was pronounced dead at the scene. Police have not identified any suspects in the region's only fatal shooting of 2025, but they do believe organized crime may have played a part.
A lot of people perceive that as, oh, this person must have been involved with something to cause this to happen. And I know absolutely that that was not the case. And I think it's just important for people to realize that this was a university graduate training to be a pilot who worked 14-hour days to support his kids. So it's difficult to see that and know what conclusions people will jump to.
Murphy says Gani immigrated to Canada from South Sudan in the early 2000s. They quickly became childhood friends in Kitchener and continued their relationship as adults.
He spent Thanksgiving at my house. He was, I mean, it sucks because right before his passing, I was going to call him to invite him to Christmas dinner, and then the next day he was gone.
Gani was also a University of Waterloo Warrior, playing 4 seasons with the black and gold football team.
I had a special relationship with Quebec, and I could count on him. As a grown man, he was one of those players that he was hard not to love, you know, and even once he was done playing here, I was always happy to see a text message from him. I'm going to miss him, and I love that young man, and may God rest his soul.
Gani leaves behind 4 children with another on the way.
It's a lot for them to have that absence now, and he had a big community of a big South Sudanese family.
A funeral for Gani is scheduled for this weekend. Police are asking anyone with information about the investigation to contact them.
If anybody knows anything behind who perpetrated this act, if they could come forward, it would help so much to making sure this doesn't happen to a person like this again.
Colton Weens, CTV News, Kitchener.
There are calls tonight for Ontario's police watchdog to get to the bottom of any issues with its workplace culture. It comes in the wake of alleged comments by a manager about the victim of a police shooting. As CTV's John Woodward reports, the victim's family was hoping for answers at a hearing today.
Moses Irhirhi's family still has the photos that show broken glass in the center console of his car.
No, he did not deserve to die.
The photos part of the evidence they're using as they hope to challenge the decision by the SIU not to lay charges in his death in 2022. Surveillance video shows him apparently urinating in a snowbank. A York Regional Police officer drives up, and within moments, Irhirhi flees. His car reverses up the snowbank, the officer hanging out, and then 3 shots are fired. Officers found a gun in a satchel on him.
I'm not saying my stepson was an angel. However, to urinate in a snowbank and to be murdered as a result, justice must be done.
Their case took on a new dimension when CTV News learned it was Irhirhi's case a senior manager at the SIU was referring to when he allegedly said the victim was a black drug dealer who had it coming, as well as other remarks about staff of color, including monkey knows better. The comments at the heart of a dispute at the Ontario Labour Relations Board where the SIU has denied they were said. The board's vice chair was expecting to hear new testimony from another SIU manager. That manager didn't show up, apparently because she was sick, prompting the vice chair to criticize both the complainant and the agency for delay. Employment lawyer Muniza Sheikh said the SIU needs to properly investigate to build confidence among its own workers and the public.
This is an organization that A, is responsible for incredibly important work, B, deals with people who are incredibly vulnerable.
The stakes are high for the agency's credibility, says activist Dave Bosveld.
It puts in question any investigation that, that individual or folks that think similarly were involved in.
As for the claimer here, he was a dealer. His stepmom says he did his time in 2018 for a drug-related offense.
He was going straight. Moses registered for school, and he had hopes and dreams of making us proud of him.
His bullet-ridden car was a write-off. Dolores Langer doesn't want her stepson's case to be written off, too. John Woodward, CTV News.
The battle over Ontario Place will now extend to Ottawa. The Supreme Court announced today it will hear a constitutional challenge over the legislation being used by the province to remake the area, something lower courts declined to do. CTV's Siobhan Morris has that story.
With the overhaul of Ontario Place pushing on, a new wrinkle far from the water's edge. The Supreme Court of Canada will hear a constitutional challenge of the Ford government bill that makes the makeover possible.
It eliminates virtually every civil or citizen or business remedy that could be brought against the government.
This comes from a group called Ontario Place Protectors. Their lawyer also argues the 2023 Rebuilding Ontario Place Act is a breach of public trust.
Because it takes away all of the environmental and heritage protections.
2 lower courts declined to dig into this case.
I don't even know why they're going to the Supreme Court. I think it's a bunch of
crazy lefties that want to protect one tree or two trees or three birds.
The Premier is excited about a transformed waterfront with a controversial spa and water park, trails, public spaces, a new year-round concert space and parking garage.
We're building the most spectacular destination anywhere in the country, if not North America.
Doug Ford calls these still under wraps designs for a new science center at Ontario Place out of this world, hinting.
And then we have some other plans that we're going to do as well.
Through Bill 5, the government can get around laws that may get in the way of development of things like mines or new highways. Gillespie says the Supreme Court's decision could have far-reaching consequences.
To send a message to governments right across Canada that this type of legislative action isn't permissible.
We don't know exactly when the Supreme Court will hear this case, but Gillespie anticipates it'll be sometime in the next 8 to 10 months. Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
The province marked a milestone today in its push to bring passenger train service back to Northern Ontario. The Premier and other officials got a tour this afternoon of a newly received train car for Ontario Northland. It's one of 3 that will operate on a revived Northlander rail service. The line spans 740 kilometers with 16 stops between Toronto and Timmins and a connection to Cochrane. The train was replaced by buses in 2012. Work has also been underway to reconstruct platforms so rail service can be restored.
The Northlander passenger rail will ensure hardworking families have better access to education, health care, and good-paying jobs. This is a critical component of our government's plan to position Northern Ontario's economy for growth, resilience, and prosperity for generations to come.
Ontario Northland will carry out testing and commissioning work as trains arrive, with rail service expected to resume on the corridor later this year. A greener future still ahead on CTV News. The new hydrogel developed by local university researchers and how it could dramatically reduce the environmental impact of personal hygiene products.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the sun because rain is on the way. How much of a washout will it be? I'll have those details coming up in your full weather forecast a little later in the show.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news.
A new hydrogel is making personal hygiene products greener. It's thanks to a plant-based material developed by University of Waterloo researchers, which absorbs the same way as the materials currently used in personal hygiene products. But as CTV's Spencer Turcott tells us, it breaks down in months, not centuries.
No, this isn't some intergalactic gel. Nor is it meant for kids to play with. You're looking at a natural, super absorbent material developed at the University of Waterloo, which could dramatically reduce the environmental impact of personal hygiene products like diapers, menstrual pads, and tampons.
The problem we have, they are all made from synthetic polymers. After you use them, you cannot recycle them, so it has to go to the landfill, which will take more than 450 years to degrade.
So that's why they've created this, to replace non-degradable components currently used in those products.
Through the process of degradation, they usually release micro and nanoplastics, which will leach into the water we drink, the air we breathe in.
And the new super absorbent hydrogel seems to be effective.
They degrade very quickly. Our study shows that within 7 weeks, we lose about 72% of their weight. It performs equal or a bit better than what's already on the market. In terms of biodegradability,
by the 3-month mark, it will completely disappear in the environment. And with tests showing it will not cause any toxicity by coming in contact with human body fluids, the team who worked on it is quite proud.
Made me feel pretty good about the fact that the work that I'd be doing could actually very much impact the world in a very positive, green way.
Getting to this point didn't come without challenges.
There's not, typically a very common machine for testing hydrogel properties. So, kind of had to get creative with it.
The next hurdle, finding a way to scale up production to see how it would work for commercial use.
It's technically possible, but the most important question, the elephant in the room, is at what cost? So to figure that out, we plan to pursue further studies.
So with about 250 million disposable diapers discarded globally every day and mountains of menstrual pads and tampons being thrown away, this partnership between hydrogel and hygiene could help set the stage for a greener future. Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Waterloo.
Now that holiday gatherings have wrapped, we know that the final weeks of 2025 saw an increase in flu cases across the country and right here in Ontario. Health experts say it's not too late to get your flu shot and are encouraging those who haven't to do so.
So locally, we're still in a period in our community and I think across the province of relatively high flu activity, more flu activity than we typically see this time of year, or at least for the past several years. So flu is out there and it's a big driver of what's making people feel sick and what's causing people to go to their primary care provider or go to a hospital with flu-like illnesses. It's not so much COVID or RSV or other viruses. Flu is the big one right now.
You can watch the full interview with Dr. Matthew Tenenbaum on our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. For some people struggling with obesity and diabetes, new weight loss medications offer hope. But a new study reveals how quickly the weight may return. British researchers found that patients who stopped taking GLP-1 drugs put the weight back on 4 times faster than after diet and exercise. Researchers say this is mostly because so much weight is lost in the first place when compared to diet and exercise. The drugs have been found to help people lose between 15 to 20% of their body weight. The study says people who stopped taking the drugs gained back about 22 pounds within a year. Okay, live look outside this hour from the Sports World area in Kitchener. We saw plenty of sunshine out there today, which was so nice to see. Hopefully you had a chance to get outside and soak up that vitamin D. Of course, now the sun has set and some messy weather is on the way. Ashley Bacon will break it all down for us and tell us what's in store for the weekend coming up in the full forecast. Also ahead, growing outrage in Minneapolis. Tensions rise over the fatal shooting of a 37-year-old woman by an ICE agent. And later, market risk mounts as the Supreme Court weighs Trump's emergency tariff powers, the potential impacts for Canada. All right, Ash, so good to finally see the sunshine out there today. You and I walked out.
We did.
We just stood there.
We basked in it for a minute and just, regained a little bit of vitamin D that's been depleted over the last couple of months. And gosh, it did. Like I said in the 5 o'clock show, it felt soul rejuvenating just to be out there for a few minutes. So.
It reminds me how little we've seen the sun because when you go out there and you notice it, it's like, wow, we've been in gray, cloudy skies for what's felt like weeks.
Absolutely. There's been consistent snowfall over the last few weeks and not really a break in it. So it was a much welcomed break and I hope everyone got to enjoy it because unfortunately it's not going to last. Let's take a look outside from Kitchener tonight. You can see there it is still nice and clear out there and will be so for another few hours. Dave Pettit bring us this shot tonight. Thank you, Dave. It is a nice night out there. I mean, it's certainly warmer out where normal for this time of year overnight is -10 and we're going to sit around 3 degrees. So conditions continuing to be warm, which means more melt is on the way. Looking at our futurecast, let's start here because it really paints the picture for the next 24 hours or so. By the time some of us start to wake up at around 5 a.m. We're going to see the brunt of this storm moving through the system. We're expecting between 10 to 15 millimeters of rain overnight and then another 5 tomorrow. So it could be quite wet and conditions are still remaining warm, which means the snow that's already impacted on the ground that's been there for the last few weeks might melt as well. This is some cloud cover we're going to see by Saturday, but that doesn't mean we're completely out of the woods for precipitation. We could see some sleet as temperatures dip by the weekend, and then of course by Sunday as temperatures normalize for this time of year, that can convert back into flurries. Temperatures across the country starting on the west coast in Vancouver, 6 degrees. We also hit 6 degrees, so very nice indeed. Minus 10 rather in Regina, minus 8 in Winnipeg. On the west or east coast, minus 8 in St. John's, minus 1 in Halifax, and 2 in Montreal. A little closer to home here in Kitchener-Waterloo, we're still sitting at 4 degrees, which again is much higher than our normal for this time of year. Overnight conditions not really dipping much further, 3 and rain as I mentioned. So if you're out tonight, make sure you pack your umbrella. You're going to need it. Tomorrow, similar conditions, especially in the morning. The rain will start to taper off by the afternoon, but we're looking at around 9 degrees expected. So it will continue to melt all of that snow we've had over the last few days, but it could be warmer. Back in 2008, 13 degrees. So we're not literally at that record-breaking range, but I will certainly take it compared to 1968 when it was minus 25. Oh, no thank you. Looking at our 7-day forecast starting in Waterloo region, Saturday will bring a mixture of snow and rain as temperatures drop. Expected high around 2 degrees, but that will continue to drop and flurries then coming into the picture by Sunday, getting back to sort of normal conditions by that day. In Lanton, Kent, Essex, you have a risk of an overnight thunderstorm for tomorrow, a high of 15 degrees. That might be record-breaking. I'll have to look into that tomorrow and see where we get to. Rain for Saturday, a high of 5, but then that temperature takes a drop overnight, causing some slippery conditions for your Sunday. And lastly, in southern Georgian Bay, you also have a risk for an overnight thunderstorm tomorrow, a high of 6 degrees, sleet for your Saturday, and then temperatures taking that dive by Sunday. Okay, let's take a look at our Weather Watcher photo for tonight. I love this photo, Sandra. Thank you for sending us from South Bruce Peninsula area. The sun is obviously peeking through the clouds, and as Leanne and I have talked about over and over today, it was just glorious. Thank you for sending Sandra.
Looks like Sandra had a nice trail walk as well today. A little bit jealous of that because it looks like the perfect day to get out there for a walk on a local trail.
That's a picture-perfect winter day, in my opinion.
Certainly is. Yeah. Ash, thanks.
Thank you.
In Minneapolis, there's growing outrage after the fatal shooting of a woman in her car by an ICE officer. All of it caught on camera. The Trump administration quick to justify the shooting of the mother of 3. Others see the deadly incident differently. CTV's Joy Melvin has the latest.
ICE go home! ICE go home!
Tensions are high in Minneapolis. Armed, masked ICE officers using pepper spray and what appears to be gas on protesters outside of a federal immigration building.
What did he do?
Demonstrators demanding ICE get out of their city after the fatal shooting of 37-year-old Renee Good, a mother and American citizen.
I watched in absolute horror as I saw a woman who was clearly trying to get away, gunned down.
Homeland Security says Good was blocking ICE agents with her SUV. On disturbing video from several angles, no! She backs up. Agents shout and grab the door. She drives forward. As the car turns, shots are fired. Even before an investigation, the Trump administration, even the president himself, declared the shooting was justified, telling the New York Times Renee Good had behaved horribly. The vice president quickly blamed the mother, insisting a paid network of far-left radicals are responsible.
What young mother shows up and decides they're going to throw their car in front of ICE officers who are enforcing legitimate law? You've got to be a little brainwashed.
As mostly peaceful crowds marched, state and local officials blasted the Trump administration, saying the FBI has cut them out of the investigation.
People in positions of power have already passed judgment. It feels now that Minnesota has been taken out of the investigation. It feels very, very difficult that we will get a fair outcome.
Minnesota's governor again pleaded with the Trump administration to leave his state alone to de-escalate the situation. Instead, the president plans to send another 100 ICE agents in. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
The U.S. has also decided to withdraw from dozens of international organizations, some important, some peripheral, after the Americans complained of mismanagement, calling for the system to be streamlined. CTV's Mike LeCouture has more on the decision and reaction.
The Secretary General regrets the announcement by the White House.
While expressing disappointment at the move by the U.S., the UN spokesperson also stressed that funding to a large number of United Nations bodies is mandatory for the United States.
Member states who've who've joined this club have to pay the dues.
The U.S. is the top contributor to the international body's budget, but the UN says Washington currently owes some $1.5 billion. Now, in a memo shared by the White House, the decision to withdraw the U.S. from 66 UN and international organizations came after a review of which ones are thought to be contrary to the interests of the United States. The list includes the Commission for Environmental Cooperation, the Global Counterterrorism Forum, and others, including the International Cotton Advisory Committee and the International Tropical Timber Organization.
The U.S. has been complaining for many years of the mismanagement of a lot of those organizations, the fact that, in fact, there are problems with their objectives, but also how they run.
The former Canadian diplomat points out the U.S. has not stepped away from major organizations like the World Bank and the UN Refugee Agency, but it is a blow to groups that did have American support. In a statement to CTV News, the executive secretary of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change called the move a colossal own goal, adding it can only harm the U.S. economy, jobs, and living standards as wildfires, floods, megastorms, and droughts get rapidly worse.
While the Canadian government hasn't commented on the U.S.'s move, a spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry said the value of international organizations lies in upholding shared interests, not national self-interest. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
A menu with a mission. Still ahead on CTV News. The new diabetic-friendly cafe serving up delicious dishes in 6 nations. Karis Mapp brings us that story coming up. Some signs of stabilization in Canada's international trade numbers. New October data shows little change in the trade balance and a smaller than expected trade deficit. But all eyes will be on the Supreme Court tomorrow. It's expected to rule on the legality of President Trump's use of emergency tariff powers. CTV's Abigail Beeman looks at the potential impacts for Canada.
Are they legal or are they not?
That's the big question that could be answered by the United States Supreme Court Friday about the American president's decision to impose so-called IEEPA tariffs. That's the International Emergency Economic Power Act on countries including Canada. This trade expert says impacted businesses should make sure to keep all paperwork.
Will the Supreme Court say that those tariffs that have been collected, if they are in fact illegal, then what happens to the money that's been collected to date? If it's supposed to then go back to those who it has been collected from illegally, then our clients and businesses in general will be looking to see some of that money refunded.
There's not a lot of optimism about a likely messy refund situation. Meanwhile, new numbers from October show Canada recorded a smaller than expected trade deficit overall.
The big takeaway is that things are kind of not moving all that much with the U.S. in terms of overall trade. They're kind of in a holding pattern. What we saw in contrast is that exports were through the roof for non-U.S. countries that we're sending goods to.
Donald Trump is still extolling the virtues of tariffs, posting Tuesday, "Thank you, Mr. Tariff. Pray that the United States Supreme Court allows our country to continue its unprecedented march toward unparalleled greatness."
I think that the U.S. administration is going to continue to impose tariffs, irrespective of the outcome.
The Supreme Court's decision could also send a broader message about the American president's power.
Is the Supreme Court going to signal that even though there are other potential tariff legislation in the U.S. that the president could use, that maybe those are not going to be good either?
The Canadian government isn't saying much about the expected ruling. A source tells CTV News they are letting the judicial process follow its course and will continue to get ready for the upcoming free trade review. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Okay, let's update our top stories tonight with CTV's Krista Simpson live in studio with us. And our top story, Krista, last night's emotional public meeting on the future of the Victoria Street encampment in Kitchener.
Leanne, a number of delegates spoke to Regional Council, most expressing their frustration and how unhappy they are with how the region has handled the situation. At one point, the meeting had to be paused because it got so heated. Regional Councillor Doug Craig says while strong opinions are welcome, rudeness is not. And he takes issue with delegates who accused councillors of not caring about encampment residents, saying regional councillors are doing the best they can. Grand River Transit says they're looking to improve snow clearing at bus stops after numerous complaints. Many transit riders say navigating areas has been difficult or next to impossible for people with mobility challenges. GRT says the snow clearing at bus stops thus far hasn't met expectations, and they are regrouping with their contractors, aiming for improvements in the future.
And over on our website, we have a story that will be of particular interest to parents in the region. The Fraser Institute's annual ranking of the best elementary schools here in Ontario.
Yes, Leanne, the report came out today, and 2 private schools in Cambridge were among the top-ranked schools. On the flip side, 3 Brantford schools and 1 in Ohsweken were among those that had the lowest scores. For more information, the link to the full report and how to break it all down, scan the QR code on the bottom left of your screen to get the story on our CTV News app, or you can head to ctvnewskitchener.ca. Leanne.
Okay, Krista, thanks for that. CTV's Krista Simpson with our top stories tonight. Delicious dining for those with dietary needs. A new cafe in Ohsweken has a menu with a mission. Skuna is a diabetic-friendly establishment that allows people to enjoy a meal without having to overthink the menu. Here's CTV's Karis Map.
I never knew that a place like this even existed.
A quaint cafe nestled in the heart of Ohsweken is catering to a cause. It came to be after owner John Joseph was diagnosed with diabetes in June.
I knew I was overweight, but my breathing was getting bad. I was getting really sluggish in the morning. I didn't want to get out of bed, and I was just feeling, I knew something was wrong.
With his health now a priority, Joseph was being mindful of his meals, which proved to be a struggle when eating at restaurants.
Even going in and getting a plain chicken, the sauce on it's got sugar, the salads have sugar, so I thought, well, I can't be the only person experiencing this.
Now his Skuna Cafe is bringing people from all around to check out the unique menu.
Everything is balanced, the macros are all set up, and so you get your proper amounts for each meal. And even the desserts that we have that come with our meals, there are absolutely no sugar in them.
This family from Port Dover made the 40-minute drive.
The lion's share of restaurants out there do not cater to diabetics at all. Most places are very, very good at making accommodations, but I watch what I eat like a hog. I have to.
Diabetes is a disease that develops when your body isn't making enough insulin, and extremely prevalent on the Six Nations Reserve.
We look at economic factors, like historical lack of access to healthcare as well too, and ongoing lack of access to nutritious foods and traditional foods that really kind of perpetuates the diabetes.
Six Nations is also known as a food desert due to the lack of grocery stores in the area.
It's very reassuring that I know I can send patients somewhere where they're going to get a nutritious meal that's good for their blood sugars as well too. And it's great to see these community-led initiatives really popping up.
Joseph says he plans to expand the space so more people can enjoy the nutritious and delicious food.
Giving elders a safe place to come and eat and enjoy a diabetic meal without feeling guilty about going out for dinner and getting off their diet or eating something unhealthy.
Karis Mapp, CTV News, Ohsweken.
Up next, it's a Canadian tradition with a twist. Still ahead on CTV News, an Eastern Ontario man takes building an ice rink to new heights. We'll have all the details coming up after the break.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
We've been talking all about the buzz around Canadian hockey drama Heated Rivalry. The show is described as shifting the conversation over inclusivity in sports, and it's become an international sensation in just weeks. CTV's Heather Wright now on the show's success and cultural significance.
Welcome to the show, Heated Rivalry.
Hudson Williams sat down on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon last night and cracked a Canada dry. His Heated Rivalry character's beverage of choice, and a reminder of where one of the biggest shows on the planet comes from.
Is it sinking in how big this show is? No.
Showcasing the two most talked about prospects in the world.
Heated Rivalry, the breakout show about hockey rivals that develop an off-ice romance, debuted last fall, winning praise for its heartfelt depiction of LGBTQ2S+ relationships and sparking discussions about representation in both TV and sport.
To have this kind of a romance story portrayed inside the context of men's professional hockey at the highest level, I think will have an impact.
The show has exploded in popularity, the talk of group chats and Tinseltown.
You guys made amazing original shows that everyone couldn't stop talking about until that gay hockey show from Canada came along.
And go ahead, Connor. The show is an all-Canadian export, based on a book by a Canadian author, set in Canada, filmed in Canada, and produced by Crave, a subsidiary of Bell Media, which also owns CTV. Film critic Richard Krause says Heated Rivalry is an example that Canada can be more than just Hollywood North.
We're not just a production house for Hollywood productions to come here and shoot things. We can generate shows that can find a global audience.
Heated Rivalry has been picked up for a second season. That is the good news for fans. The bad news is that season 2 is not set to be released until next year. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
We have more news ahead. First, let's check in with Ashley.
Well, you're going to want to grab your rubber boots and umbrellas for tomorrow. I'll have details on what you're waking up to just after the break.
Tonight, intensified tension grips Minneapolis.
I saw a woman who was clearly trying to get away.
This was an attack on law and order.
The divisions and who the U.S. vice president is blaming. Later on CTV National News and watch live on Crave.
All right, let's check back in with CTV's Krista Simpson to see what our team is working on for later tonight. Krista.
Well, Leanne, if attending a play at the Stratford Festival is in your plans for later this year, you can soon secure your tickets. They go on sale this weekend. We'll have details on when you can buy tickets and why this season is going to be a particularly special one tonight at 11:30. Leanne.
Okay, Krista, look forward to that. Can't wait. Ashley, I love going to Stratford.
It is so nice.
Seeing theater there. It's amazing.
I can't wait for April.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get to be there for opening night.
Opening night.
That's fingers crossed. We'll see what happens, but...
You're praying for an assignment on opening night.
With our weather team here.
Yeah,
that would be wonderful.
Fantastic. Well, let's talk about the weather and what's in store, because we saw that sunshine today, but you warned us the rain's on the way.
It is on the way indeed. You know, I laughed yesterday. You wore a yellow blazer. You brought the sun. I wore green or blue today. I'm bringing the rain.
Yeah, there we go.
You want to pack your umbrella. If we take a look tonight, we'll start to see that rain move in after midnight, with the heaviest of it being in overnight. Still quite heavy by 6 a.m., but look at those temperatures, Leanne. 8 degrees by 10 a.m. The rain is expected to taper off by evening, but it could mean, as temperatures drip, that turning into a bit of sleet. So bit of a wet day to start.
I know a few doggos that aren't going to like that morning forecast.
Same.
All right, finally for us tonight, building a backyard rink is a Canadian tradition, but an Ottawa area Perth man is taking this one to new heights.
This is really cool. He's built an indoor ice rink on the second-story loft of his barn. CTV's Peter Sperling reports.
It's not your typical homemade ice rink.
John Ryan built this in the second-story loft of his Perth, Ontario barn.
If you know me, I'm a pack rat, and the first floor is full. There's no room.
That's right. Ground floor is for storage. Upstairs, for fun.
It's fun and it's helpful.
Keep the stick tight against your skate.
Originally built for his children years ago. Now his grandchildren get to enjoy skating close to home.
Like, mostly every day. Like when I come home from school. Because when I'm bored, I can just come here.
Do you have fun here?
It's great for the kids. They're able to come and skate at Nana and Papa's anytime they want. It helps them practice their skills for hockey.
He says the structure is sturdy, designed to hold the weight of bales of hay. He tried the traditional outdoor rink first, but that wasn't his thing.
Laziness. I'm tired of packing the snow down and watering stuff like this. This, once you've got it in, my son and I think 4 hours, we had it ready to go. Throw the hose in it and walk away.
Of course, he added boards, lights,
Taylor, you ready for some more hockey?
and a staircase to make getting up and down easier.
Ryan's been doing this for 16 years now, and even though it is indoors, it's still very weather dependent.
You take the pucks and the nets off and let it puddle up. Once she gets hard, she's good to go again.
With hopefully many seasons to look forward to.
Well, my grandkids now live behind me, and my son has got a baby on the way, so we'll be doing it till we can't do it anymore.
Peter Spurman, CTV News, Perth.
All right, love it. Ash,
Wow.
I know you were like, if that was here, I'd be out there.
I almost need to drive to Perth, Ontario to check it out in real life. That is so cool. I could not imagine growing up and having my granddad build a hockey rink on the second floor of his barn.
Cool.
That would be amazing.
If anyone here in Waterloo region has anything like that on the go, let us know, because we'd love to come check it out.
Absolutely. Give us a shout.
Yeah.
We'd love to come see it.
All right. That's it for us. Krista Simpson has your next local news at 11:30. Have a good night.